Now, there are brand new developments from the mother of missing baby Lisa Irwin, now entering its third week, and her parents are talking again, and this time with Megyn Kelly, anchor of America Live. And Megyn is with me now live here in our studio. Good morning to you. So you flew out over the weekend, you sat them down, and what'd you find out?
Too many explosive things to go through in a few-minute segment, but it was almost a 2-hour interview. There was no question that they would not answer, and I asked every single thing I could think of about their possible involvement, their children's possible involvement. Did they kill their child? Did they sell their child? And each parent took me through all of their actions on the day in question. And I'll tell you, there is fodder in the interview for both sides, people who believe that they had something to do with it and people who believe that this truly was a stranger abducting a child.
Well, there were two clips I want to play from your interview. You talked to her for how long again?
Almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours, okay. This is a clip that I believe goes through your questions about what happened that night.
Well, this is for the first time on camera. She revealed something she's never said before, which is she was drunk on the night in question, and you will only hear this here on Fox, the number of drinks she had. You can watch it. Let's talk about the wine. How much did you consume that day?
I had several glasses of wine.
When you say several, more than 3?
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with her.
More than 5?
Probably.
More than 10?
No.
Was it just wine, or was there other alcohol?
Just wine.
No vodka?
No.
Were you drunk?
Yeah.
Was your neighbor drunk?
I don't think so. I don't know. We haven't really talked a whole lot about all of this stuff. I mean, we're not sitting around comparing notes. I don't think she was. I mean, I think she was probably tipsy.
Do you have a drinking problem?
No. I don't think so.
She talked about the number of times per week that she does that, gets drunk while watching her children. She was the person who was in care of them at the time. The husband was at work, so she was looking after her 8-year-old, her 6-year-old, and her 10-month-old, and you heard her, in her own words, say she was drunk.
I remember a week ago, police were crawling through this window of the home, and we were led to believe that the screen was broken in from the outside.
That it was pushed in when they found it.
And a light was on the inside.
Many lights.
And the front door was unlocked.
Right.
Now, did you get a chance to see all of that, or were you able to piece that together?
I did. We went to the house. This interview took place at sort of an off-site location, a safe house, if you will, where the family is staying, or was at least for that day. But we went to the Irwin house and took a look at the surroundings where they say an intruder came through. They now tell me, this is news, that they do believe that the intruder came through the window. Earlier, they had suggested the intruder may have come through the front door of the house. Now the parents are saying they believe the intruder came through the window. There are some inconsistencies in that story, which we'll be discussing today at 1 p.m. with what they've said earlier. But I'll give you a look at the actual scene, so watch it. This right here is the window into the computer room that the family believes the intruder came in through. They believe he pushed through this screen and went through the window. You can see down below that there's a little wood step, so if you wanted to get in, you could step up on it, and you would be tall enough potentially to push through this window and enter the house. They say the baby's room is through this computer room on the other side of the house. That's how they believe it happened. Although the screen has been put back in place now, they say on the day in question or the night in question, it was pushed in slightly. They believe that the perpetrator then lifted it up and slid through for entry. The other thing about that, Bill, is you can see, I don't know if they can re-rack that tape, but you can see that there was a fence right next to where the Irwins lived, and there was a dog.
This
the Irwins
right
had a dog.
The window into
killed
the computer
sound,
room that
but
the family
just showing the B-roll. Right behind me there, you can see sort of a tree, and there's a fence. There's a dog, a loud barking dog of the neighbors, who, as soon as we went over, came and ran and barked at us. The Irwins also had a dog. Both dogs stay out in the back 24/7. And yet nobody heard barking on the night in question.
No one did, huh?
No.
There's a question about a mystery man. I don't know who this mystery man is, if it's a friend or a neighbor. And there's a question, too, about stolen cell phones.
Yeah.
Did she support
The mystery
that?
man is a homeless guy named Jersey, nicknamed Jersey, who they took into custody on an unrelated warrant. And police say originally they wanted to question him about this case, but they're steering us off of this guy as having anything to do with this case. The cell phones are interesting and important. The family claims that they had 3 cell phones, his, hers, and a dead cell phone that were on the kitchen counter that were stolen when little Lisa went missing as well. I asked them about those cell phones. They said that those phones were under restricted service and therefore could not make outgoing calls, this helps the family arguably because the police say that a call was made on one of those phones at 2:30 in the morning, and that's why that's one of the reasons they believe the mother's not telling the truth. She said she went to bed at 10:30, woke up at 4. Who was making a call at 2:30? The family says, and they say they can prove it, that they hadn't paid their bill. So they weren't allowed to make outgoing calls on either of those phones, and so they believe the police are not being truthful because neither they nor anybody who stole those phones would have been able to make an outgoing call.
It is an enormous mystery that's attracted the attention of so many in this country, too, trying to figure out where this 11-month-old girl is. So I look forward to seeing the rest of it later today,
If I can, I just want to tell the viewers that at the top of our show at 1 o'clock, we are going to break some major news on a major inconsistency that we uncovered with the family story. We're going to also air their defense. You'll get both sides of the story today at 1.
Got it. 1 o'clock Eastern Time.
Thanks for having me,
Thank you, Megyn. Okay. All right. The mystery continues.
Hey, it's good to be back with you here, Bill.
Nice to see you.
This is a little deja vu all over
again. You were able to
again.
find this room again, weren't you?
I feel the need to mock you, but I can't. I'm only having nice feelings
Maybe
towards you.
a little later, okay? More of that to come.
All right, see you guys.
Martha.